Hello, everybody. It's Sunsets here from Hot Springs, North Carolina. We're at the Laughing Heart Hostel, and if you hear noise in the background, it's people in the hall talking. It's a little loud here, but it's a nice hostel, well worth the money, and quite the contrast to the last one we were at, which was what was that called? Standing Bear Farm. Standing Bear Farm was an interesting experience, and we ended up spending 3 freaking nights in Standing Bear Farm, $50 a night, and it was it needed some work. It has new owners apparently from last year, and they need to funnel some of the money that's going into that into fixing up their place, and they're bringing in a ton of money. I mean, there was probably each of the 3 nights we were there were probably 30 to 35 hikers, and they were spending 25 to $50 a piece, and they were buying beer and buying stuff from their store. I calculated the first day we were there that they were probably bringing in about $1,200 a day, and really they need to hire a maid and clean that place up and do some repairs. But the reality is they don't have to. The reason is they're the only hostel directly after the Smokies, and you don't have any other option. Especially if you're coming out of a week of rain and the next 3 or 4 days are forecast to be rain, which is why we ended up staying there in the first place. We stayed there thinking we were going to do one night. Then the forecast changed and we stayed the second night slack packed, so we still got some mileage in. And then the third day was just flat out torrential rain and nobody was hiking. So anyway, Laughing Heart is night and day different. We're in a private room for $45. We paid $5 for to have our laundry done, and at Standing Bear, you had a one of those washboards that people play as a percussion instrument as your washing machine. Anyway, enough about that. You know, one more thing about Standing Bear. It is right for the young crowd, I guess, who want to party all night, and that's really what they draw. Except when the weather's poor, then other hikers are kind of drawn into it because it's the only option around. So anyway, let's get into mileage and milestones for the week and your questions. So because we stayed at Standing Bear for 3 nights, which is the longest we've paid for accommodation, our budget's a little out of whack, but we'll go into it. So $419 is what we spent in week 5. That breaks down to $195 in accommodations. So that's $150 at Standing Bear. That's $45 here tonight. Town food. That included like a pizza at Standing Bear and just junk food throughout the days we were there because we were tired of eating out of our food bag. Town food was $166 total for this week. Resupply was pretty minimal, $30. We did get a package today from Jen's mom. Hi, Mary. And it had some goodies in it, but we did not pay for them, so I'm not including any. There was no cost to us in that. In addition to Mary's package, a huge part of our resupply was a generous gift from our friend Linda in California. She gave us so much great stuff to eat on for the next 3 or 4 days. Sour Patch Kids and Jolly Ranchers, some jerky, and just a ton of other stuff. And we really appreciate that as well. Other. So we paid $5 here for laundry today. A buckle broke on my I say broke. I broke a buckle on my backpack on my Gossamer gear, and I gotta tell you, Gossamer Gear's customer service was so fast. They're like, "We'll send you out one free." And by the time I had sent the email, we walked around town, went to the outfitter here. I found a $2 replacement, so I just went ahead and paid for it and got that switched out. So I was sitting on a rock with my backpack off, and I put my hiking pole down because the rock was really low to the ground to help me kind of get my old body standing up. And the buckle was under the hiking pole, so I put 225 pounds worth of pressure on that buckle, and it broke. So
to your hip belt.
Yeah, that was the buckle to my hip belt. So anyway, luckily I was able to find a solution here and didn't have to have Gossamer Gear send it off. The customer service for Zero Shoes, however, is very slow and painfully slow. They're overwhelmed, I guess, with customer requests because it takes them 2 days to respond. And so 4 days ago, I sent a thing, said, "Hey, my shoe broke. I can't send a picture on your web form. Would you like me to send a picture?" 2 days later, they respond, "Yes, please send me a picture." And so I sent a picture. 2 days later, they said, "Oh, we can't find you in our system. How did you order? Where did you order?" So I sent them another email today saying that we ordered from their online system. It was under Chica's name. And so hopefully they'll find that and replace my shoe. I'm very happy with the $6 camp shoes I bought last week at the dollar store. They're operating so much better than the $70 shoe. Anyway,
For you.
for me.
Yes. I like my Zero shoes.
Okay. Chica says she likes her Zero shoes. Of course, hers haven't broken. Okay, so we hiked. Let's go back. We are covering week 5, which is April 19th through the 25th. We went from Newfound Gap to Hot Springs. And so that's 67 miles. And I think that's another longest week. Maybe last week was 69. I don't know. Anyway, $419 spent total over 67 miles. That's $3.13 per person per mile, which is a little bit above where we need to be. We're fixing to bust out some miles this week. We don't have a break for a long time. We don't have a zero scheduled. We're going to go through Irwin to resupply, but we're not going to stay there. So I think we'll make up some in that. Let's see. Oh, I'm so discombobulated. I didn't finish the other line items. So $2 buckle, $5 laundry, and then $21. My birthday's coming up in 2 days, and we're going to be on the trail. So I bought me a cigar and a box of wine because it's not a wet county. So I would prefer a little bottle of bourbon to sip on around a campfire while I smoke my cigar, but I don't think it's to be. So we bought a small box of wine that we'll share on my birthday in a couple days. So, milestones. We got out of the Smokies. Ooh, yay. We hit Hot Springs. Hot Springs was something that we've seen in multiple videos, and we really were excited about seeing it. After seeing it, we had the opportunity to zero out tomorrow and celebrate my birthday here, and there's just no reason to stay in the town. 2 of the restaurants were closed today, and the other 2 that are here in town were open, and we went to one for lunch, went to one for dinner. Both were excellent. One was the Iron Horse Saloon or something like that. Tavern. It was good. They had some good craft beer on tap and great food. The second place was the Smoky Mountain Diner. It too was excellent, especially if you like the southern cooking type things. I had chicken fried steak. Chica had Chica just got some sides because she wasn't too hungry. So anyway, both those were good. We hit our biggest day. 2 days ago we did 14.1. And we felt really good. We hit 10 miles before lunchtime or right around lunchtime. And that's kind of a really good barometer of how the rest of the day would go. Next. Okay. So we're making some gear adjustments, mainly me. I am sitting home, and I can't show you because it's already boxed up. We have to go to the post office tomorrow. I'm sitting home in my big rain jacket. I was apprehensive of bringing the rain jacket in the first place. It weighs almost 2 pounds, and it's just overload. It keeps me certainly dry, but it's got to be cold outside or cool for it not to just burn me up. So I had also bought a rain poncho before we left. And I kept going back and forth. Which am I going to use? Which am I going to use? Well, I've determined, because even if it's a misty day, I'm not really wearing my rain jacket too often. I've determined that the poncho is fine. So I'm probably going to save about a pound and a half by sending the rain jacket home. And I think the poncho will keep me just dry and as dry and will be nice. I'm also sending my Zero shoes, my broken ones, home so I don't have to carry those around. I've been carrying them around just in case I needed them for my claim from the company. Jen, Chica, bought some compression sleeves, like cycling sleeves, and she's going to use those instead of a long sleeve shirt. It's so, weather is so unpredictable. Not unpredictable. It changes so frequently because we're going up and down elevation so frequently. So you get hot, you get cold, you get hot, you get cold. So instead of taking off a long sleeve shirt all the time, she's just going to take off the sleeves. And also it's going to save her some weight. So that's kind of a cool addition, and we'll let you know how that works for her.
It's going to work great.
She says it's going to work great. Okay, let's get to your questions. Terry has some questions about long-term travel with each other. How do we deal with each other 24/7 in an environment where we're always together? I got to tell you, when we both quit our jobs in 2013 and moved to Costa Rica, this was a big concern. And I think it's a concern for a lot of people who retire. Okay, I'm used to working 12 to 14 hours a day, and I see my wife at night. We have dinner together, we go to bed, we say hi to each other in the morning, you go back to work. Okay, now I'm moving from that scenario to a scenario where we're together almost all the time. For us, it was not a difficult transition. I think initially, maybe the first 6 months or so, we had some issues, and we had to figure out, okay, this is my space, this is my time, this is, how we're gonna deal with this. But on the trail, really, Chica's my best friend, and we get along very well. We cheer each other on, and it's not as challenging for us as it might be for some. I don't know if there's a trick to it. You just have to know your partner and know her well, or him well. Like I said, we've been together for we've been married 22 years, been together for 23 and a half, something like that. In the last 4.5 years or so, maybe 5, we have worked side by side, and we're used to being in the same room a lot, and bouncing ideas off of each other, and recognizing when the other person needs space and getting lost. So that's my answer to that question. Probably long-winded. Terry also asks, He's going to Jerusalem. How to cope with 30 hours of travel? What do you do to pass the time? Obviously, if you're a reader, grab a book, listen to podcasts. We both joined the library in Jen's hometown before we left, and they have a ebook program, so we can get as many ebooks as we want, read them, return them, get the next one. Podcasts, there's a ton of free podcasts for whatever interests you. What else can you do? We journal a little bit. We journal a little bit and take notes on ideas that we might have for future projects. You can listen to music. I'm a big music guy, and I've got 400 or 500 songs on my phone that I listen to, things like that. What emotional changes have we had since starting this hike? I think emotionally we've gotten stronger. We've dealt with adversity, and it's built up our emotional skin, I guess. So we have thicker emotions, and it takes more for us to get down. So I guess it's hardened us a little bit. We were probably a little softer before. Other than that, I don't have much. Okay, so, all right. I made a comment in one of my videos that I can't wait to get to Virginia because Virginia is easy. Let me explain that comment because I know there's really no easy part of the AT. What I meant was Virginia is easier for 3 reasons that I can see. One, by the time we get to Virginia, we will have our gear dialed in. We will have lightened our backpack to where we need until we can send our cold weather gear home, which will lighten it even more considerably. We will have built up stamina and muscle and be prepared for longer miles. And 3, the elevation doesn't go flat, no, but the amount of elevation that we are climbing and descending on a daily basis is significantly reduced. The mountains are smaller. So those 3 things combined make Virginia easier, maybe not easy, but easier than what we're experiencing in North Carolina. If I'm wrong there, I'm sure someone will correct me. Okay, what else? Okay, TJ asks, is it hard to... They want to do some hiking, either section hiking or through hiking, but they want to take their car and they want someone to move it along as they go. And I don't know the answer to that. I would imagine there's services that would do that for you. You'd have to hire 2 people to do it, one in a follow car, so someone moves your car and they can still leave. So it might be an expensive proposition if you're moving it every single day. So I don't know how exactly that would work. Sorry, I don't have more information. Pangeria 12. Okay, she wants to know, or he, I don't know which, wants to know the cost for the through hike permit. Okay, there is no through hike permit. There is a permit needed for the Smoky Mountains, Great Smoky Mountains National Park. That's $20 per person, and that gives you 7 days, 8 days, 7 nights in the park. Not sure how the Shenandoahs work yet. I know there is a new permitting system for Mount Katahdin or Baxter State Park in Maine, but I believe that permit is free. You just have to fill one out. So there's no through hiking permit, but some of the state parks and national parks require a permit, some with a cost, some without a cost. He also asked, I don't know which gender, do Chica and I have jobs? How can we do this, and are we going back to anything? I alluded to kind of our situation in, I think, week 3 or 4, where I talk about a little bit of our biographical information. So we're living on savings right now. Basically, we saved up enough money to do this epic adventure. Before that, we were in Costa Rica, and we were, I guess you could call it semi-retired. We were both writing. We had both authored a couple books. Those books basically paid our rent in Costa Rica. I wrote for International Living magazine, and that paid the rest of our expenses, which were pretty minimal. We lived on between $1,300 and $1,500 a month. We didn't have a car there. We still don't have a car. So when we don't have a job to go back to, we'll probably do some writing. We may get part-time jobs. It really depends. We're not sure what the adventure is after the Appalachian Trail. I'm sure we'll take several months and come up with an idea about how to use the information that we've learned on the trail to help other people, and see if there's some money we can make from that. But otherwise, because we sold everything and don't have many expenses outside of our day-to-day expenses, it's pretty easy for us to go from the trail to somewhere else. I hope that answers the question. Okay, she also asks, cooking regulations on the trail. Do you have to cook over a fire ring? Can you use a firewood stove, or do you have to use a gas canister? Okay, so there is no reason I would think that you would ever want to cook over a fire ring. That means you have to build the fire. Usually at the end of the day, you are dead tired and you're ready to fire up your gas canister stove and cook your food for 10 minutes and go to bed. Same thing with a firewood stove. Number one, the trail is historically very wet. So you have to have, tinder and wood that's dry to be able to cook with that. And we've just come off 5 or 6 days of just pure moisture. And I would hate to have to depend on that type of stove. So 2 types of stoves people use: the canister stove, which is very fast, and the alcohol gas stoves, which people make out of soda cans or cat food cans. Both are in use. Most people use a canister though, because they're easy to find on the trail, the canisters, and the stoves work great and boil water very fast, which most meals are used with boiling water. Okay, so my brain's a little fried today, so I hope I didn't ramble too much, but that's all the questions and all the info I have for this segment for this week. So until next week, I will talk to you later. Bye.